Welcome to week 2. Today we're going to have a look at Photopea again, and we're going to have another go at the brush tool, but this time you're going to try and save your work to your shared folder into a PowerPoint. Now last week I didn't have 2 screens, so I couldn't see any questions that you might have been typing, but this week I will be able to. So first off, I'm going to start off with a demonstration. I wanted to show you Photopea and Photoshop and how similar they look. Normally when you're in college you would have been using Photoshop and learning how to use that, but because you're working from home we found that Photopea is very similar, and as you can see you have here very similar buttons down the side, tools I should say, they're called tools. They look very similar. Okay, so in Photopea you use the brush, in Photoshop here you have a brush tool. Okay, so we've got different brushes, and you can see that the swatches and the brushes here and here, again they all look very similar. So this is just for you to have a look to see the similarities. I'll just close that down for now. So let's look at Photopea in more detail, because this is what you're going to be using from home. I know Phil has made a video for today and he'll be showing you this as well, but the more you practice this the better you will get. Okay, so we're going to make a new project. And if you remember, you've got the different types of projects to make. I need you to choose print, like last week, and then go on to the A4 page. Now it says new project up here, but you can rename it. Week 2, and I'm calling it week 2 brush tool. The background's going to be white. Usually we start with a piece of white paper, so to speak. So there we are, I'm ready to create that. So there we have an A4 piece of white paper. And we're going to use the brush tool. So remember, going down the tools to the one that looks like a brush, you're going to use the brush tool. So select that one. It looks like a brush, so it's quite easy. If you come across to this side, you'll see you will have brushes here, just like Photoshop has those as well. You've got different styles of brushes. Okay. You've also got different sizes, angles, roundness. Play around with these, see what they do. I'm going to start with just a round brush, and I'm going to make the size a little bit bigger. And at the moment I can see that my colour is sort of like a turquoise blue. You can change your colour. You've got a colour picker. You can go through the colour spectrum and then you can adjust the colour, and you can see the colour you had to the colour you're going to choose. Now be careful you don't just leave it on there and close that down, because the colour won't actually change. You have to say OK every time. And now you see the colour has changed. Get your brush and start your painting. Now if you make a mistake and you think, oh dear, I don't want that bit, it doesn't really matter, because you could use, there is a tool you could use to get rid of it, but actually you could just change your brush colour to a white, and then you can sort of rub out. Those of you with tablets, if you want to use a tablet and a pen, you can. You don't have to use a mouse, it's up to you. You can decide what you want to do today depending on the equipment that you have. So again, I'll change the colour back, and let's go for something paler. Oh, I made a mistake. Let's try again. What did I do? Let's try that. Did I say OK? Yes, I did that time, so that worked. You'll probably find you'll do that as well. Now, another thing you can do is, again, as I said, choose different brushes, and you can adjust the size of your brush here. But there is a nice keyboard shortcut. Now on the Mac, next to the return key, there are two symbols that look a little bit like brackets, but they're not. Okay, but they look like brackets. So if I choose the one on the right, if I put my cursor, I'm back over the page, choose the one on the right. Is there anything happening there? Here it goes, because it's yellow, I can't see it. Right, I'm going bigger and bigger and bigger, or I can go smaller with the left bracket. Well, as I say, it's not a bracket, but it looks like it. On a PC, I'm not quite sure where that is. I'm hoping it's going to be in a similar place, but have a play around with that, see if you can find it. Okay, so another thing you can do. Let's have a look. Now I've got a round brush again. I want to make it bigger. I'm going to change the colour. Let's go for, ooh, don't like that. Let's go for dark deep red. Remember, I've got to say okay now, otherwise it won't change. There we are, it's changed. Now you've got different tools in the top section as well. Okay, you've got lots of different things you can do there. I would keep your brush on normal when you're starting off. You can always experiment with these again later on. I suggest you could do that in your private study time, have a play with it. This is one that's very good to adjust, is the opacity. So you can make your colour less dark and allows you to see what was behind. But the more you put your colour on top, the darker it goes. So you can play around with that and see what effects you can create. And again, obviously, if you come up to 100%, you get the full colour. You also get here then the flow. So if you have less flow, how does that work? So again, play with that and see what you can come up with. Smoothness. Again, I'm not quite sure what that does. Have a experiment with all these things. And then you've got different tips of the brush. Whoa, that does something different as well. So as I said, just experiment and play and see what you can come up with. So have a go at drawing, or painting I should say, because it's a paint tool. Something, an object you've got in front of you, or if you're feeling very brave, you could try to do the view you can see from your room. Have a go at that. So say you've finished now, so what you need to do is save this work. Go to File, and I've used the word save because that's usually what we do in Photoshop, but actually we don't want to use that word save, we want to export. We're going to export this document, this page, as a JPEG, JPG, okay? Use JPEG. Okay, and then go save. Week 2 Brush 2 is going to save to my desktop. Yes, I'm happy for it to go there because I know where it is. Save it. So that's me done with my Photopea. Okay, so what do we got to do next? Well, we've got to save that document now to your OneDrive. Where's your OneDrive? Well, if I just, whoops, close that down a minute and minimise Photopea. Let's find your OneDrive. So if you open up your My page, we'll have a tab open with your My Day, I should say, on it. You will have here Office 365 and you'll have a OneDrive. Yours will look different to mine. I've made all of these folders in my OneDrive where I store all my work, but sometimes other members of staff share documents with me. Now, I've shared a document with you here. So you'll need to go into your shared drive to see it. Okay, and you should then see different documents in there, whatever's been shared with you. I'm going back to my files because in my folder, let me see if I can find you. here you are, Level 2 Art and Design. And I've got a folder for this year. And I've made a folder called Digital Skills, and I have put your name on I have named you in that folder as well, each of the students. You will only see one folder with your name on. You won't see everybody else's. You won't have access to anyone else's work, just your own. What I'm going to do now is click on one, and you'll see that inside the folder you have a Digital Skills PowerPoint. What you'll need to do is click on where it says student name, and in this case we've got Ellie's. I'm not going to change this for you, Ellie, you'll be able to do it yourself. You can obviously just put your name in there. Week 1. Well, week 1, if you did actually manage the task, I know that some of you found it a bit difficult or you didn't have the right equipment, that's fine. Obviously you don't put the image in if you don't have one, but you can just talk about what problems you faced last week if you didn't manage to do it, or just say how it went, okay? Week 2, well, this is week 2 for me here, so let's have a look. Week 2 brush tool image, I'm going to take off my desktop and plonk it in the PowerPoint. Fantastic, what a work of art. And then what you could do then is discuss how it went today, what you found easy, what you found difficult, artistically, how did your work come out, what did you think? So you can type in whatever you want there, okay, just explain to us how it went. I'm obviously going to take this out because this doesn't belong to me, and it's back to where it was. Now, that's what you need to have a go at doing today. So create a painting of something that's in front of you or your room using the brush tool, and then put it, save it, and then put it in your folder. Okay, have fun with that, and